Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing well. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. 40,000 subscribers, people, by the end of the year. Let's go, let's go. All right, I want to kick things off with these new pound for pound rankings that I've seen floating around. This is obviously in light of Canelo Alvarez losing on the weekend. I want to quickly go to Mike Coppinger's page because he had his new rankings up, but it's not necessarily his that I want to see. I think I saw that he had ESPN's new top 10. Look, a lot of these rankings are going to be, especially because they're done by broadcasters, they're going to be obviously favouring the fighters that fight on that broadcast. So we'll have a look at ESPN's first and tell me what you think. All right, so they've got Terence Crawford as number 1, Inoue number 2, Spence number 3, Canelo dropping from number 1 to number 4. Bear in mind that Canelo is undisputed at 168, hasn't lost since 2013, although I thought he lost the Gennady Golovkin fight, but officially hasn't lost since 2013 and went up to fight a 175-pound unbeaten champion. He has dropped to number 4 after that defeat. Tyson Fury, number 5. Usyk, who's coming off beating a unified heavyweight champion at number 6. Loma, number 7. Bivol's now into the top 10. I don't know where Bivol would have been before, but he's number 8. Shakur Stevenson, number 9. And Estrada, number 10. Look, they're always subjective. It's just a fun debate to have, but I don't agree with this list at all. Like, I mean, Josh Taylor's no longer in the list. That's because of a disputed win against Jack Catterall. Let's not forget Josh Taylor's work before that. I mean, Josh Taylor is the undisputed king of 140 pounds. Undisputed. I mean, his resume, his last sort of 6 or 7 fights speak for themselves. He's now no longer in that. So Josh Taylor's out. Shakur Stevenson, who, look, I think it's an unbelievable fighter, but the resume still only has 2 wins in it for me, Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez. Does that deserve to be in front of Josh Taylor? I mean, does it? And I'm not talking about who you think's the better fighter. I'm talking about what have you done for me lately, in the last 2 years at least. And Josh Taylor's done a lot. So I don't know if Josh Taylor deserves to be out of it. Terence Crawford is number 1. I mean, look, I think Terence Crawford's an incredible fighter, but the resume still a bit thin. Still a bit thin. I mean, does Terence... Okay, look at Terence Crawford's last 4 or 5 fights. Is that better than Canelo's? I mean, look, let's have the debate. I don't know. I just don't think it is. And Usyk being at 6, I can't have Usyk that low. I can't. I mean, some people might look at the fights against Witherspoon and Chisora, and that might be the reason he's that low, but Usyk's always been in and around the top 4. He's coming off a beating of AJ in AJ's backyard, and he's dropped for some reason. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Look, for me, Canelo should still be number 1. Again, I mean, you look at what Canelo's done in the last couple of years, and say what you want about Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. Those are 3 guys, unbeaten, all-world champions, and he brought them all up. Am I lying? And against Dimitri Bivol, look, I thought Bivol won that fight 9-3, 8-4, but it wasn't like he got knocked down or beaten up. It wasn't. Was it 115, 113? No. But it wasn't a beatdown. How can he drop so many places? It baffles me. Look, again, these are all very, very subjective, but for me, I don't know. This is what Mike Coppinger had. I mean, this is even worse. Terence number 1, Fury number 2, Spence number 3, Bivol 4, Canelo 5, Inoue 6, Usyk 7. Come on, man. Loma 8, Chocolatito 9, Shakur Stevenson 10. Again, he's not got Josh Taylor in there. Now, I thought Jack Catterall beat Josh Taylor, but I mean, the record books say that Josh won, and Josh is undisputed at 140. Undisputed. And he's out of the list. Crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the subject at hand. And that's Anthony Joshua and his return to the ring. Now, don't get too excited because we've heard so many different dates when it comes to AJ fighting, although extenuating circumstances means that the dates that we heard initially, like March and June, had to be pushed. March had to be pushed because, well, look, there's a war in Ukraine, and I mean, Usyk obviously went to Ukraine, so we understand why that happened. And even prior to that, there were some discussions. We're led to believe that there was an undisputed talk between Fury and Usyk. That's what we're led to believe. I think Usyk's managers come out and confirm that there was some discussions. So you can understand why it's been pushed back and pushed back. I think the reason it's been pushed back to July, and again, the date is July 23rd now, in Saudi Arabia, by the way. But I think the reason it's been pushed back to July is because there were issues with who was going to be the broadcaster, or at least the lead broadcaster. It looks like AJ will stay with Sky Sports. Obviously, Eddie and DAZN would have hoped to have been the main and lead broadcaster. Again, I don't know anything. I know that I work for DAZN and, you know, I'm close with AJ's camp, but what I'm telling you is my own thoughts here. I do believe that AJ will stay with Sky Sports, and I do believe that DAZN will have the global rights. So Sky will have the UK rights, DAZN the global rights, very similar to what happened when AJ fought Usyk. So I think that's been a big sort of issue behind the scenes. I think the other big issue is where the fight would take place. Again, if you're from the UK, you would have hoped that it would have been Wembley Stadium or, again, the Spurs Stadium, which, by the way, is fantastic. You would have thought it would have been that. Money talks, and it looks like it's going to go to Saudi Arabia. So I would be very, very surprised now if that's not the date and that's not the venue. So July 23rd, Saudi Arabia. Now, there are going to be people that are upset about this, but look, I mean, again, money talks. And having been up and close and personal with a lot of boxers recently, get as much money as you can. This sport is far too dangerous for, and I hope I don't sound a bit silly saying this, but it's far too dangerous for you not to get as paid as much as humanly possible to do it. If you fight in London, and this is just, again, speculation about fees here and figures, but if a fight was to take place in London and it was, I don't know, 25 million to Usyk and maybe AJ getting a bit more, maybe because he's the bigger draw, 30 million to AJ, and then Saudi Arabia come along and, you know, Usyk's figure goes to 40 and AJ's figure goes to 50. I mean, come on. Come on, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The only good thing, and there's only a couple of good things here, but I guess the one good thing for us UK fight fans, especially for the many that wouldn't have gone anyway, is that it's around the same time. So it's not like it's going to be in America we have to stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning. If it is going to take place in Saudi Arabia, you are looking at the same start time. So there's going to be no difference really. So that's the one good thing. Would I have liked it to be at the Tottenham Stadium? Yeah, I was there for AJ Usyk and it was fantastic. But I just want the fight to bloody happen. Because again, there's been roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and you just want it to kind of get done now. So hopefully this will be announced. Now, Eddie Hearn has mentioned this date a couple of times, which is why I'm doing this video. I'm not just doing it and just plucking a date from thin air. Eddie Hearn said this date a couple of weeks ago, and he's now said it again on a recent interview of IFL TV. So that leads me to believe that this is the date they're looking at. And again, I think the roadblocks now have been overcome in terms of broadcaster and venue. I think those were the biggest two. I think everything else is done. We know AJ's in fight camp. We know Usyk's in fight camp. I think it's just a case of it being announced. What's the date today? May 12th, I think it is today. July 23rd. I expect it to be announced in the next couple of weeks. And then the sale starts. And I don't think it even needs to be sold too much. You don't need a big promotion for AJ Usyk. You don't. It kind of sells itself. It's not like we're being starved for boxing right now. So as much as everyone's sort of screaming and shouting about announce the fucking date, it's not like boxing isn't giving us anything right now. Boxing has been on a very good run since the start of the year. But this would be the cherry on top of the cake, wouldn't it? For us to get this fight down. Now, look, I have started the prayers already that Anthony Joshua wins. You guys know how big an AJ fan I am. And not just that AJ wins, it's just because I'm now desperate to see AJ versus Tyson Fury. Would I make Fury a favourite? Yeah, of course. Fury's the best heavyweight on the planet. You looked at all the pound for pound list and Fury's right up there now. It's just that I think the magnitude of that fight will just elevate the sport. And that's all I want to see. I want to see boxing be elevated to as big as it can be. And over here, I still think it's the second biggest sport. Some people might argue and say rugby or cricket. I think boxing has jumped them both. I think boxing's the second biggest sport on this planet. But let me tell you now, if AJ were to fight Fury, boxing, for that day at least, would be sort of neck and neck with football. Not overall, but neck and neck. And then again, it grows the sport. So look, let's hope AJ can get the job done. I know there will be some watching this video that will be upset that the fight's in Saudi Arabia. Look, the fight's going to happen. Are you more upset about the fight not happening or the fight happening in Saudi Arabia? Which one do you want? Or the fight happening in America? Now, there might be some of you that are upset because of sort of political reasons, and I get that. And this isn't that video. I'm not going to get into that. But with regards to the fight happening, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I know a lot of you think it might not happen. AJ is 100% fighting Usyk. It's just a case of when and where. And I think we know that now. So yeah, that's the news that's coming out of Eddie Hearn's mouth in terms of a possible date. And that came out of his mouth, I think, today. And again, I heard something whilst in the States as well. So AJ Usyk, Saudi Arabia, July 23rd. Do not book your tickets. Don't book your tickets. And then say Ade told us. Ade didn't tell you shit. Ade is just speculating here. Is there anything else before we pack? I saw this. Ben Whittaker signs a deal with Boxer, will be trained by Sugar Hill Stewart. Well done to Ben, well done to Sugar Hill. I saw Ben at Fight Camp, and I was adamant because he was there with KD, part of 258 management. You guys have probably seen KD alongside AJ, who works in that team. And because of that, I just assumed he was going to sign with Matchroom. Look, I don't care who he signs with, I just want to see him fight. I want to see him fight. Sky is obviously a very, very good platform and have done very good things since Matchroom left. And now they're signing more fighters. I think one thing Ben Shalom said is that they do need to sign more. And now they are signing more fighters. I mean, it's very difficult to sign a lot of talent in the UK at the moment because there are so many different sort of broadcasters and promoters. So well done to Sky and to Boxer in getting Ben Whittaker. A lot of people are excited about him. I just want to see him fight now. I mean, you think the Olympics was ages ago. I know he's had a hand injury, I believe, but you think a lot of the pros have coming out of that Olympics, a lot of the fighters coming out of that Olympics has had 2, 3, some have had 4 fights. So, yeah, I think he needs to kind of get a move on. How old is Ben Whittaker, by the way? I'm guessing he's about 24, 25, 24 years of age. So, yeah, let's see what he can do. Let's see what weight class he lands at. I'm guessing it'll be super middleweight. He fought at light heavyweight in the Olympics. I'm guessing it'll be super middleweight. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I don't know if he's the best talent coming out of sort of the Olympics, especially when we're talking from a British perspective. And this isn't my DAZN head, but I do think it is Galal Yafai. I was watching Galal Yafai up and close at Madison Square Garden, and he is a talent. The problem for him is that he's in a shark-infested division, whether it be fly or super fly. So we'll see what he can do. But look, very excited about Ben Whittaker fighting. Hopefully they can announce a fight for him very, very soon. Floyd Mayweather fights, I think, this week. Is it this week? He was in Nigeria. I'm not quite sure why, but it was in Nigeria recently. Look, more than happy for him to go to Nigeria. And I think the more sort of people that get out into Nigeria can see the potential of that country, especially when it comes to staging sporting events, is a good thing. Kamara Usman's obviously been there, obviously Nigerian. AJ's been there recently, Lawrence Okoli, Israel Adesanya. It's good to see Floyd there now as well. When's Thingy fighting? 2 seconds, I just want to see when Floyd's fighting. I should know this, but I can't remember the date. Let's have a quick look. Floyd is fighting, okay, this weekend, 14th of May, against dangerous Don Moore. Someone's O has got to go because Don Moore is 18-0, Floyd is 50-0. Anderson Silva fights on that card as well. I think there's a few more on that card. I think it's a decent little card. Let's see if it's on BoxRec, because I actually think it's a pretty decent card, by the way. Could be wrong. Happy to be wrong, but I remember seeing it earlier in the week and thinking this is a decent little fight card. I think Delphine Pursoon's on it. Let's see if there's anything on BoxRec with regards to it. 2 seconds, peeps. No, there's nothing on BoxRec with it, which is a bit disappointing. Why is there nothing on BoxRec? I need to find this. No, nothing on it. What a joke. What a joke. That's a shame. That's a shame. But I think Badu Jack's on it, and I think Delphine Passoon is fighting someone very good on it as well. It can't be Linadatu. Why did I think it was Linadatu? No. I think it's Hamadouche who fought Michaela Maya, I think, if my memory serves me right. What else have we got? Costano said, I'm going to make Charlo pay for everything that he said, make him suffer. Good fight this is. Very, very good fight. Can't wait to see this one. Again, look, was it an off night for Jamel Charlo? Is Costano's style just a bit too awkward for him? We'll find out on the weekend. Sergey Kovalev returns to the ring soon. He's had a 2.5-year layoff since he got beat by Canelo Alvarez. Not sure what to expect from Sergey Kovalev. I think he should have retired after the after the Canelo fight. But I do remember hearing that he got a 2-fight deal with DAZN, which was quite smart on his part. And so this is his last fight. So good on him. Get your money if you can, but fingers crossed it's not a painful beating, because there isn't much left when it comes to Sergey Kovalev. Oh no, it's not. Apologies. It's Delphine Passoon versus Elhim Mekhaled. It 100% was Hamadouche. I'm sure I saw it. But anyway, regardless. Ryan Garcia versus Isaac Cruz has been ordered by the WBC. I like it. I like that fight a lot. Ryan Garcia coming off that win against Emmanuel Tago, who obviously wasn't much of an opponent for him. Isaac Cruz coming off that good performance against Yuriorkis Gamboa. I like it. It's a tough fight for Ryan Garcia because Isaac Cruz only fights one way, and that is that way. So we'll see, especially now with Ryan Garcia with Goosen, we'll see what he can do against Isaac Cruz. It's the perfect fight for him to have, win, and then his name is firmly attached to the champions in the division and the best in the division. But yeah, good luck on him. Anything else? We'll see if there's anything else on here. Hamza Shiraz, this came out yesterday, is voted Young Boxer of the Year by UK Boxing Writers Club. I think Hamza Shiraz is a really, really good fighter. But, I mean, let's not forget the controversial fight he had last time. I was there for the undercard of, who was it again? Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur, when he beat Bradley Skeet. Obviously, he's had a win since then against Jed Smith. But there's an asterisk. I don't know if he should have got that. For me, there's that asterisk because of the Bradley Skeet fight, the way in which it played out. And there was talks about a rematch. He's now gone up to middleweight. And I think it's a good weight division for him as well because he's very big and very strong. Anything else before we pack up? Don't forget as well, Tony Yoka versus Martin Bakole this weekend. Good fight. Anything else to add before we pack up and go? 2 secs. I like this. This is Bivol. This is why I like Bivol. Dimitri Bivol on the pound for pound discussions. This is what he said. I don't feel that I am a king today. Canelo was a super middleweight. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, look, that doesn't take away from his performance, but he was in there with someone that, you know, he probably felt the pop of Canelo and probably thought, ain't much. And Canelo we know can hit, but he probably thought, you know, I can take this. Probably, you know, in clinches felt that he was the much bigger guy. That's why I don't mind the fight happening at 168 next. I don't think Canelo will take it at 168. I think Canelo's ego will say, let's run it back at 175. But yeah, I like that. People need to stop sleeping on Canelo, you know. One defeat and all of a sudden people are chatting shit. Incredible. And it isn't just fans, because it's normally us that chat this shit. It's boxing people and boxers chatting shit about Canelo. You must be out of your mind. People, peace and love.